And good evening, WyoNation. We are here for a very happy WyoNation postgame show as the Wyoming Cowboys defeat the New Mexico Lobos 35-26 at homecoming. And joining me tonight with Brad unavailable is Mr. Shea Foster. Welcome to the postgame show, Shea.
Oh, thank you, Chad. It's nice to be on the show on a different end of it, I guess. Not just complaining about you guys in the comments.
That's right. So you can complain live
That's
and in
good. That's
video.
good.
So, yeah, again, the score 35-26. I guess I'll just open it up to you if your initial thoughts and comments on what we saw from Wyoming this afternoon.
It's like the team is full of superstars, there's no doubt. Extremely talented. They were without Siders, you're without Davis, the cornerback today. It's just like they have not clicked together in any game this year. One guy's clicking and two guys are off. Two guys are clicking and then one guy like kind of gives up a long play and you're like, man, the team seems like it's right there. They just I don't know. Great from Peasley though. Man, what a leader today to come out and lay the boom on a safety and I mean credit to Polasek, I haven't been exactly the best on offensive coordinators at Wyoming, but I think Polasek dialed up a good game. He had Whaley out in space where he needed him, and obviously Whaley kind of forced some runs, made him bigger than they probably should have been. But I don't know, the team just doesn't click at the same time together. Like Clayton Stewart, a couple punts deep into the end zone, and then should have downed him. Anything inside the 20, just don't bring it to the 20. It's just they're misfiring, and hopefully they get it cleaned up. And I feel bad for Colby Taylor because the kid just wants to play, but God, sometimes just maybe be a little quiet and stop being a marked man because his talent is unbeatable, but he kind of marks himself out there on the field.
Okay, and he's the one who got that, I guess, the 15-yard penalty late in the game for throwing the guy out of bounds. Is that right?
Yeah, he had three of them. He had the
Yeah,
quarterback sliding, which we'll give it to New Mexico. The
that's
pass
tough. Yeah,
interference. If you're going to call the pass interference like you did on Colby, Wyatt Whelan got molested way worse than Colby did, or than Colby, you know, to Wyatt. And that would have put it out of the hands of the game. But
sure.
I don't know. The refs missed a couple spots today. They gave they sacked Hopkins one time, and they gave him 3 yards, like from where he went down. So I don't know. Colby is just a passionate guy, and I just wish he wouldn't. He's like Derek Martin. He definitely chirps a lot, but
Yeah, Derek liked to talk.
he did. And Colby likes to talk, which is fine because he can clearly back it up. I thought the sideline play was kind of BS. I would hate to even with Brown and Gold, if somebody did it to one of our guys, I'd be like, well, what do you expect the guy to do? You can't
Yeah,
stop that motion.
you got to call it, but I mean, it's a stupid rule from that point. Sure. All right, we got a couple comments here. Clint's in the stream. Welcome, Clint. Says good game, closer than expected. And right, so Wyoming ends up winning by 9. The spread was 13.5, but I mean, at this point in time, it's conference play. I'm not really concerned about the spreads. Just win the games. Clint's got a couple comments for us. He says,
Passion does not equal undiscipline. That's right,
yeah,
Clint. You're right.
he
I'm not
says,
saying he wasn't undisciplined. I just there were 50-50 calls on some of them. Even the quarterback sliding. Colby wasn't malicious at all.
yeah, says, will be interesting to see how many, I think he meant to say a little typo there, teams focus on Taylor for the rest of the year. There is something there. Perhaps. We'll see. And then, as you said, he says, passion does not equal undisciplined. And sure, I don't think he didn't do anything egregious, but football's changed, right? And it's that fine line. And for whatever reason, like you said, if he's involved in that fine line, he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. I mean, hey, how about Ian Bell, the true freshman coming in at cornerback? Hawkins back in the locker room and Ian Bell out there playing today too. Good for him.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of my MVPs for the game today.
You mentioned that. And then a kid called Tice
Westland, the defensive end. It's like they had two You know what they look like? They look like Carl Granderson when he was a true freshman.
He
Tall,
does. He
lanky
looks
guys.
skinny. So I'm just going to look. I got the stats up here. So let's
Yep.
see about Tice. He was not credited with a tackle or anything,
He
as far as
should
I
have been.
can.
He had the
Oh, there he is.
him and
Tice
Isaac
Westland.
White. Yeah.
Yes, he had
Yeah.
3 total tackles and a half a tackle for loss in his first game, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other
Yeah.
kid is Bell. Bell had 2 tackles. So there you
Yeah,
go.
Bell
So
nearly had a pick.
2 kids
So
there making their debut. And then other guys came back. So there's a lot to be happy about Wyoming's performance overall. I would say Buck Coors, right, had a tackle for loss. That was his lone tackle. So good to have him back in the fold.
yeah. I think he comes out of he may come out of the cast next week. I think he's close.
Okay. And that'll help him,
'Cause
obviously, right?
yeah, it's not fair. I mean, Rook was kind of getting bullied today, but when your defensive line is letting the receiver run all the way across the field and get open, it's not really on Rook, either. And
Yeah.
Rook could use
So
a break. Buck is a good kid to put in there.
sure. Yeah, it's all about rotation, and you're seeing that a lot of the bigger teams, defensively, especially. If you can go too deep, that's great. But obviously, at Wyoming, you're not going to be able to go too deep at most positions. But they're able to do it at like D line, and in some cases, linebacker. So it's good to see. I'm seeing today just 3 linebackers credited with tackles.
Cole Navarro's almost had that pick. I will say something. Colby got left out to dry by his team on that last touchdown. He's fighting at the 3-yard line, and everybody's standing around.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's not his fault.
And I hate that. Yeah,
The new
run
rule.
gang tackle,
Yeah, the new rule.
Guys are just standing there.
So, yeah. So the defense, and we'll talk about them more, but I think we got to go offensively, right? And the big takeaway for me is
Yep.
obviously Peasley looked like a completely different quarterback this week. Last week, he probably had no business playing, to be honest.
You're right.
But this week, he looked like the Peasley that we need to see when he's effective, very effective today. 16 of 25 passing, 194 yards, 64% completion percentage. If Wyoming does that and can run the ball, they're going to be in every game they play in from here on out.
Yeah, Ayer had a big drop. So you're probably talking 17 to 25.
Well, he had one.
He
Yep. And
pass.
I think
there
was another couple drops too. 2 or 3 drops.
Yeah, nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
And they add up,
today.
and then Peasley always has a couple that he just doesn't, set his feet properly. Yeah. And if he could just set his feet, I mean, you're talking about a guy who really could go like 20 for 25 in a game someday.
I thought he did great today.
He was very good.
Big game from Peasley.
Yep. Rushing wise, right
out there too.
And that's the key, right? He ran today 7 times for 34 yards. Now, again, I don't know how many of those were sacks. Looks like he was only sacked once. So 6 carries, maybe not all designed, but 6 carries for 30 yards ish, and that's what he has to be effective, right? If he's not a threat running the ball like we saw last week, where he was basically a statue, the offense is just that more dynamic. But he has to be a little smarter, right? Because he came out for that one play because I don't think that was a designed run. Maybe it was, but he scrambled to the right near the sideline. I remember.
No, he almost got sacked. He got out.
Was it the third quarter? Was it in the third quarter?
Yeah,
or
it took off.
Yeah,
it was third quarter because they were going with the wind. It takes off instead of like jumping out. He's like, "Well, I'm going to teach my teammates."
Yeah, which is commendable, but not for a guy.
Andrew, you don't have to prove anything, man. The team already believes in you.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's commendable, but I mean, a guy who's just coming off a bad shoulder and has a history of concussions. I mean, it shows that he doesn't care, right? He doesn't think about himself. He thinks about the team.
We got a comment here from Zach.
I know. I don't know. I'll bring it up. I mean, I don't want to.
I didn't talk about choking.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty harsh. Zach?
Derek Martin was famous for getting on bio portals online. He would get online, find the portal, like find the bio of the player and like study it so he could chirp the player during the game.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean,
I
He
met
used to
Derek. I was on
choke so
deployment.
much. I mean, I kind of see what you're saying, but I mean, the guy also. I mean, how did he played in the NFL for a couple of years? I mean, he's not like some
Won a
chump.
Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Won a Super Bowl with Packers.
yeah,
2011. I was on deployment. He came out, and I had him
yeah,
sign my Wyoming hat, and he gave me the big old hug.
yeah.
Derek's a great dude.
And I've
He just
talked
played
to
with
him
a
a
lot
few
of
times.
passion.
I don't know if he was anymore, but for a while he was a high school football coach here in the Denver area.
Yep. He had one of his players playing, and then that player decided he was going to hit the transfer portal and not play anymore.
So I don't know if he's still there, but I mean, sure. I mean, Derek Martin. Sure, I don't know. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
So Peasley obviously is much more healthy. You could tell the zip on his balls, his accuracy was better. But the big thing for this offense, right, is this is just his third game, but Harrison Whaley is the real deal. And he might be the best running back Wyoming's had under Bowl, which is saying quite a lot.
Yeah, because I think what made no discredit to Brian Hill, one of my favorite players of all time.
Sure.
But he had Josh Allen.
Yeah.
He had, well, I would guess the year he broke the rushing record, it was on that 2-10 team, but everything was focused on him. They were just running him at everybody.
Yeah.
But man, Harrison is good. I like to see more Sam Scott, I think.
Yeah, he only had 2 carries today. 2 for 4.
Yeah,
Basically, Whaley carried the load, 18 carries for 191 yards. And then I don't have it up. I should have saved it, but Alex Scott had Whaley's stats for the season, and there's something ridiculous, like 3 games, 500 yards, and like 4 touchdowns.
Do you think Whaley can do the Fresno Brian Hill record? I'm not saying against Fresno, but against a team this year or next year.
Oh, the single game record for
I remember in 2014 Brian Hill exploded.
Wasn't it like 280 or something ridiculous like that?
Yeah, something wild. I don't know.
We'll have to look that up. I don't know. I mean, it's possible. I mean, he's played in 3 games, Whaley, and he's had 3 long touchdown runs in each game, which is incredible.
He's should have 4. I don't know how he got.
And he almost had 2 today. He got tripped up. He was 4 yards short of having 2 50+ yard touchdowns. I mean, wow.
His post-game interview was good. He talked about things he could have done better, and it's
yeah, he's a bum.
You don't want a kid like that to get hard out. Yeah, hard out.
18 carries, 191 yards, 10.6 per carry, and he's thinking about what he can do better. Wow.
Big pickup. Good, good on Bull for. I know Bull used to hate the transfer portal, but good for Bull.
Use it to your advantage, right? Yep, especially at the running back position. Running backs who are transferring should be knocking down our door to come here with the offense we run.
Yeah. Well, now you got Ayer looking like a Javon Bow night.
In a way, yeah. Brian comes in. Hello, Brian. Brian, we've seen him on the postgame before. He says Peasley stole his yards. Pretty good, huh? Well, yeah.
Good for Peas.
So, yeah, let's break down the passing game was good this week. It was more similar to the passing game we saw against Texas Tech, which was our best passing game to date of the season.
Break the tight ends out.
The tight ends, I'd still like to see the tight ends targeted more. I'm looking here. Welch only had 3 targets, but he had 3 catches. And then Gillenborg only had 1 target, but 1 catch. So your leading receiver today was Welch, 3 for 22. Again, the numbers aren't going to be big, but Wyatt Wieland was targeted the most 5 times.
You know what Wheelan reminds me of? And this is Asa Carter-Samuel's first season when he had David Leonard. He's his blanket. That's Peasley's blanket.
Sure. Yeah. I can see that.
Guy that just goes out there, gets a little open.
And then, of course, Asante, 2 for 72 and a touchdown, including the 66-yard touchdown catch, which was, a lot of skill on his part, but also very well blocked team-wise downfield.
Did you see that Jamari Farrell block?
No, I don't
Farrell
remember it
lit up his
offhand.
guy. Yeah,
Didn't
he
cleated him?
yeah, Farrell came back. Pretty close, and I was like,
Yeah.
I think on the Haley or in the Whaley big run too, Nick Miles got blasted, but he got in the guy's way, and I was like, well, if you're
Hmm.
gonna do that, oh, there we go. Brian's got a
Here
good
we go,
comment there.
Brian. Yeah, let me get this up. And this is what I'm talking about. Right? This is, I don't know, it's controversial when I say this. People get mad at me. Oh, look, this is working now. Interesting. Whaley acknowledged in the post-game interviews that passing opened up gaps sometimes we've talked a lot about last year. Yeah, no, I talk about it a lot, right? I mean, as well as Wyoming runs the ball, the passing game should be there if it's designed anything close to efficient. And we saw it today. I
Yes.
think this is like your textbook offensively. Again, I don't know how good New Mexico's defense is. I was trying to look up their stats during the game.
Huh.
I mean, they're not
Now,
like
if Peasley
horrific.
goes for if
They
Peasley goes for over 200 yards, Wyoming probably doesn't lose a game this year.
sure even like 150 if he's efficient
Yep.
for 150. I think Wyoming is in great shape. So again, that's all I'm asking. So good. It's great. As I said, the main point of all this is great to see that Peasley's healthy. Wyoming has a true home run hitter running back. And yeah. So I would say only
Who's
thing going
your
forward
MVP on offense today, Jeff?
today.
Yeah.
Wow, it's close, huh? It's kind of like that chicken or the egg thing. Like, did Whaley were the gaps open for Whaley because they had to respect the passing game today, or vice versa? Or did the passing game come easy because Whaley had to be a target? I don't. It's a cop out, but you almost have to go MVPs. Brian says Whaley.
Oh, I mean, not bad. So one point of the game I thought was super critical. I don't think Wyoming's had a lot of tackle depth, and Barnett went down, who's had a great season
He did, yeah.
thus far. They moved Jack Walsh over to tackle
Okay,
today,
I didn't notice that. All
and
right.
they scored. They scored a touchdown on that drive with him at tackle. So that, I mean,
Yeah,
those are plays you like overlook, but man, that's
it's good, and I
impressive. You know, a
know,
guy can move over.
and they do that. I think they, if I'm mistaken, let me know. But I'm pretty sure that bowl, they may not like play it in games, but like when they practice and stuff, especially in the off season and spring ball, fall ball, they try to get the offensive linemen trained up at two positions. So they have that flexibility. And if they need to move over in a pinch, it's not completely foreign to them.
Yeah. Well, I thought the play calling was good by Polasek. I think he put his team in good positions. And sometimes it comes down to the players. Those drop passes hurt. But
They
you
do,
know,
especially for Wyoming. Yeah. All right.
yeah,
I'm going to
I
share
thought
my screen here
yeah.
and we'll look at some of these stats. If I can, why is this not, it's not wanting to work? Hold on here. I don't know why it's not, because I think that I'm on a phone. Oh, there we go. Now it's working. It's just delayed. Let's see here. So here is the official final stats we'll bring up here. Nope. There we go. There it finally goes. And we'll focus over here on the team stats. So pretty even. 433 to 417. I guess defensively, right? Wyoming didn't have the best of days, but
Yeah.
as much as they have to carry the load, you're not going to complain.
They get their one-off game. Peasley had his off game last week. This is the defense off game this week.
Yeah, pass yards were about even. Everything was about even, really. Again, penalties are a concern. So again, Wyoming had, I think, 9 penalties in their first 3 games. And I think last week, did we have, was it like 10? So now we're up to like 16 penalties in our last 2 games.
Another false start.
And false starts.
Yeah,
Yep.
those kill me.
I know that gets you going.
Yeah. And you know what? One was on Walsh today, and it looked like the center mistimed it, and the whole right side of the line went. Walsh got the call, but I think that one was on the center.
Sure. And then the key for me is right here. I got highlighted. Third downs. Now, I didn't notice this, but Wyoming was 0 for 5 on third downs in the first half. So that means in the second half they improved marginally and went 2 for 6. But that's key going forward. And I'll have to look at the numbers to see how we are in the season. But
that one third down in the red zone, all the guys ran, and they all stopped their stuff like right at the sticks. There was nothing towards the end zone at the 20-yard line, and that really made me mad because it didn't give Peasley a chance because there was no help over the top, and Welch was on a linebacker was on Welch.
Yeah, and you got to like recognize that, right? You got to have a little creativity in the offense. And again, I don't know how much they have the ability to change routes when they see certain things.
Did it.
Yeah. Another thing that caught my eye. Let's see, where did it go? It was the third downs. What was it? Holy moly. It's completely spacing me now.
God, those total.
Oh, red zone. Bad. Right here. Both teams were perfect in the red zone.
Ugh.
Scoring each time they entered, which you don't see very often. So at 9 for 9, both teams, 5 for 5 for New Mexico, 4 for 4 for Wyoming. So a lot to build off of. We can go to the defensive stats. Not a surprise, Easton Gibbs, your leading tackler, with 8 total tackles, 2 pass breakups too. Rook Brown with 5 total tackles and an interception, which was key at the time.
Look at Eckler. What a monster day from him, from a safety.
Yeah, 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for losses, 1 pass breakup, and 1 forced fumble. Yeah, that is a monster day. He might be if he had a pick, he would almost be like in that defensive player of the week territory.
He's dropped a few picks. I'm hoping to see him finally get one.
We'll see. Yeah, no, we seem to be doing that each week, right? Just playing the man and not the ball. But that happens. I think they coach teams differently these days. Yeah. So there's your defensive stats. And then let's see here. Oh, it's going to make me go back to the beginning here. Let's look at the special teams.
Oh.
Stewart was pretty solid. 4 punts for 42.8 today, aided by that lawn at 56, which was great. It took a great roll and great coverage downfield to pin New Mexico down, I think, at the 1.
Yeah, I don't know what. That's 2 weeks in a row. Caleb Cooley is forcing stuff. I don't know what they're coaching him back there.
Yeah, no, it is a good question. And yeah, Brad and I talked about that last week. He's back there just because he's sure-handed, and he'll catch the ball, which is fine. I don't mind it.
I just think he wants to break something super bad, and there's no reason to force it.
He wants to impress. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
get his chance.
Red Shoe Man, automatic. 4 for 4 from 38, 34, 26, 38. And he's now over 50 field goals in his career.
I would have liked to see them kick that 56-yarder in the first quarter?
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised that they didn't try it.
Wind at the back.
Mm-hmm. Early in the game, so if you miss, it's not a huge deal. But
yeah, and then the punt call, it's like, if you're going to do that, you got to pin him at the 10 or deeper.
Exactly, and then it went to the end zone for touchback. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I mentioned this to Brad last week that I don't like that. They used to mention net punting used to be in the stats all the time, but they've taken it out. But really, net is all that really matters.
His net was definitely not 42.
No, yeah. So the net is what's key to me. So I'm going to have to find a website that's still tracking net. But yeah, a lot to be happy about. The Wyoming offense had a good showing. The defense, all right, they had an off game, but that's okay. I'm not going to beat them up for it. So really now, Shea, the really question is, and I'll stop screen sharing here, and we can kind of focus on what's ahead for Wyoming here. But I mentioned to Brad when we did the roundup on Monday night that the next 3 games are really going to shape Wyoming's season. It's the next 4. It's the toughest stretch they have. And let me make sure that I have it correctly in my head, but I do believe it's Fresno, Air Force, Boise, CSU.
Yep.
I think that's the right order. Let me get the schedule up to make sure. Fresno for sure next week, which is a great opportunity. I think Fresno's on a bye this week.
No, they're playing Nevada.
Are they playing Nevada? Okay.
So this is
ahead.
where it gets crazy. Is you get if TCU, I think they have TCU, Iowa State on the docket next week. If both those teams lose tonight, or one might be on a bye, Wyoming Fresno State could be on Fox Network.
Yeah, and that's
Not
my
FS2,
point.
Fox.
Yeah, that is my point. That next week's game is either going to be on Fox Sports 2 or potentially on Fox. And I thought if Fresno State wins tonight, I think it's got a good chance. I think it's going to be a more entertaining game than what's the other? Iowa and who?
Iowa State and TCU.
Oh, is that the game that we can go against? Okay. Yeah, no, I think Wyoming and Fresno State is nationally sure, right? Not going to be the game getter. But yeah, it'd be amazing Wyoming to host 2 games in one season on network TV. That's wild.
The big boy
prime
networks,
time.
yeah.
In prime time, too. So, yeah, so root for Fresno, and they should have no problem against Nevada. Nevada is pretty awful.
I don't know. Nevada took it to Kansas for a while. So maybe that was just their Super Bowl for the year.
Yeah, so we have Fresno at home, at Air Force, at Boise, and then CSU at home. And really, these next 3 games. So if Wyoming has conference title aspirations, your bare minimum is 2-1, which is a tough ask, which means you're going to have to, either way, right? Beating Fresno at home, not going to be easy. And then if you don't beat Fresno at home, to have any chance, you're going to have to go to Air Force and Boise to win. So a brutal schedule.
I think Air Force is they're a great team. I just don't think that they've really played anybody because they didn't look good against Sam Houston State.
No, and I could see that. And traditionally, Wyoming plays them tough, and they've done well. Brian has another comment. Says, will Wyoming break into the top 25 this week? Yeah, no chance. No.
If they would have blown out New Mexico, you had a better shot.
Maybe. If you beat Fresno, who's going to be ranked more than likely, you might have a chance.
I think Wyoming moves up the coaches poll, but the AP is not high on Wyoming.
No, yeah, the coaches poll is a lot better. Wyoming in the AP poll is only receiving 1 vote from Reese Davis. So shout out to him. I haven't looked at what coaches are voting for us. I'll have to look that up this week when the new poll comes
Bryce
out.
Sarkisian. Wyoming's the only team giving him a game.
He might be. Yeah, it might be Sarkisian. We'll have to see if Sark has Wyoming rake tie. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, just what are your thoughts here? I mean, I kind of agree with you. Air Force is kind of like probably like the closest to 50-50. But I think Fresno's a tough ask. Boise's a tough ask because we've never won at Boise. We've only beaten Boise once in our existence.
Yeah.
They're having kind of a down year. They play Memphis tonight.
They were losing.
Were they? Okay, I know it's going. We could talk about that here. I'll get the scores up. We'll talk about the Mountain West scoreboard. We usually do that here.
Oh, Memphis dumped Boise. Brian already got it in for us here.
Okay. Oh, Memphis dumped them. Okay. So Boise's not great. So this is our chance, but still, you're going to have to score points. That's my only concern is you got to score. Man, I don't know.
Even the Fresno team, everybody's high on them because they beat Arizona State and Purdue, and I'm like, I get it.
Sure, they're both pretty bad Power 5 teams. Yeah, so Wyoming's got a chance.
Yeah,
if you find a way to go 2-1,
clicking.
just 2-1, right? You can't go 1-2. I think if we go 1-2, your shot at getting to a conference title game it's not done, but then you have to win out, which is still possible, right? CSU, UNLV, Hawaii, Nevada at the end of the season, you could win out and maybe sneak your way in. But 2-1 makes it that your pathway is a lot easier because then you get tiebreakers. Because now, right? Because there's no division, so tiebreakers are everything now. So you got to beat the good teams. And unfortunately, Wyoming's playing the 3 best teams they're going to face 3 weeks in a row.
And maybe that's good. Maybe Siders is back. Hopefully Harsh isn't out. Maybe you're catching them all at the right time. Not at the end of the year last year, Wyoming has a heartbreaking loss and goes to Fresno and just gets destroyed.
Yeah.
So
no, we'll see.
Wyoming could go 3-0. This could be like 94 Fresno comes in, Wyoming beats them.
Yeah.
Wyoming loves beating Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
Wyoming does not love beating Boise, but it would be nice if they finally did it on the blue turf.
Oh, I see. So your final score. So we'll hit this really quick. So at Memphis, that's actually a pretty tough, close game. 35-32. Boise loses in
Push
Memphis.
The spread.
They're 2-3 on the season. Other games in the Mountain West include Utah State gets a 1-point win against winless UConn.
Oh, that was an exciting game. That was a good game. Utah State came back from 17 down and blocked a PAT at the end to win it.
Really? They blocked a PAT to win the game? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it says that here. Yeah, it's got the replay. It says Ike Larson blocks UConn's PAT to win game. Wow.
Did UNLV kill Hawaii?
UNLV won 44-20. So UNLV is now 4-1 on the season, 1-0 in the Mountain West. Wyoming won, of course. Utah State won, but in non-conference. Your conference games right now, San Diego State and Air Force have just started on CBS Sports. You can, after us here, you can tune into that if you're interested in that. Be rooting for the Aztecs, I guess. And then later tonight, Nevada will be playing Fresno State on FS1 in the late game. And then right now, it must be in a weather delay. The Sheep are up 14-10 against Utah Tech, which is a 1AA or FCS team formerly known as Dixie State.
The old Dixie State from
now Utah Tech.
Yeah, that town is up in arms about that name change.
Oh, I'm sure. So the Sheep are only up 4 on Utah Tech. So entertaining.
The Mountain West is ripe for the taking. There's no team running. None of the teams, to include Wyoming, have impressed me in all their games they've been in.
Sure.
So, the boys got to click next week against Fresno. Good on them today. You don't be upset with the win. Don't apologize for a win.
No.
And but the boys got to be able to click. And what was it, 2 years ago where Fresno came in? They had Jake Hayner and they shut him down, and the offense couldn't do anything.
They did. Yeah. They shut him down, and then we lose like 9-6 or something ridiculous like that.
We lost 17-0, but I think the defense just finally.
It was that game you're talking about. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They held, and the defense eventually was like, well, you can't go 3 and out every drive. Yes, sir. So, yeah. So, a lot to be happy about. Happy homecoming to everybody. And, yep, Wyoming you only win the games which are on your schedule. They beat New Mexico. And now the season's really going to be defined in the next 3 weeks.
It's only going to be 1 week at a time, though. Let's just
But take it one at a time.
Yeah. Finally get a win against Fresno. I mean,
beat Fresno at home. And then from there, try to split the road. Exactly.
When was the last time Wyoming beat Fresno at home?
I'll look it up. Let's take a look.
Because the 2014 game was on the road. That's where I hate when they said Vegan and Bull found Allen. That was the game they found Josh Allen, and it was the safeties coach that found him. He was only here for 1 season.
All right, let me go to the schedule. All right, so you're looking for a Fresno State win at home?
Yep.
Okay. Let's go back here. So in 21, we hosted them and we lost 17-0. That's the 17-0 game. So then we must have played them in 2019. Well, maybe not, right? The schedule gets a little whacked. We didn't play them in 2019. I don't think we played them in 2020. That was the COVID year, no. So then 2018, let's look here. 2018 at Fresno, you lost. So 2017, probably played them. Lost 7-13, 13-7.
Oh, that's Josh Allen was hurt. Nick Smith was the quarterback.
Yeah, 2016. They were not on the schedule. 2015, probably not on the schedule as well. Let's see. No. 2014 at Fresno, won 45-17. So the last time we beat them was 2014, which is incredible.
The Brian Hill game. Yeah, Brian Hill. We need Whaley to break that record against Fresno.
And then 2013 at home, we lost 48-10.
It's got to go back to the 90s then.
You lost 42-14 and 12. Let's see, 11 didn't play them. In 2010, we're going way back. You didn't play them. In 29, you didn't play them. I don't think. Hold on. Nope. Yeah. So we'll stop there. But yeah, it might be probably the 90s.
The 90s then.
Oh no! Hold on. It did. Oh. We did beat them in 2009. Last game of the season, 35-28.
Oh, that was the bowl game, though. They weren't even Mountain West members. That was the New Mexico Bowl. That was the famous goal line stand.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that was December 19th. So the last time we beat them was in the famous goal line stand in the New Mexico Bowl. You're right. Yep. I forgot what conference. The conference realignment's been great. They were still in the old WAC. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Good. It's been good night. It's been a while, huh?
So there you go. The last time we beat them, we were not conference mates.
That's not good. We gotta break that streak.
We will. Hopefully we will. We'll see what the early line is. Brad and I will be talking about it Monday night on the roundup. The line will be out. We'll get the injury reports. We'll see how things look. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's going to be a very big game and could be on national TV.
Oh, who's your defensive VMP?
My defensive MVP? I don't know if there's one player who really did a whole lot. I mean, you could argue for Eckler, I guess, right? I mean, he saved them 3 points at the end. Just think if that was 3 point, if New Mexico was tied at halftime, maybe the game's completely different. I mean, he got the sack, forced the fumble. I'll go with Eckler.
That's good. Brian comes in with Rook the Crook.
Okay, yeah.
That's a good one.
Show that on stream. Rook Brown with another solid game, obviously. Interceptions in back-to-back weeks.
I'll probably go with Eckler also. That safety blitz was eating up New Mexico.
It was.
I don't know why Savell just didn't throw it at him all the time.
And he probably had another one. Did he have the sack on the one that where they got the false start and it didn't count?
He took Hopkins out of the game.
Yeah.
Hopkins
Yeah,
didn't
he
come back
hurt
in the
him.
game after that.
Yeah, so he hurt him on a play that didn't even count. Eckler came in and just lit the guy up. So, yeah.
Good safety play at Wyoming lately. Savell's a good safeties coach. He's doing well back there. An overall defensive coordinator. He's got the right play. Sometimes the players are just kind of standing around. So.
So yeah, I think I am good here. Any final thoughts, Shea?
Well, the week's over. The boys can enjoy the win tonight, get some ice baths tomorrow, and get to work Monday.
And then we should see her probably tomorrow. Like what channel that game's going to be on. So we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see. So maybe another game in primetime on network TV.
It's a late night for me here on the East Coast. If it's going to be an 8:00 kickoff.
That's true. That's a late game. Yep. I don't miss living on the East Coast. That's for sure. So, all right. Well, Shea, thank you for joining us tonight.
One last comment. You're right, Brian. Carson York was hurt. He was long snapping with a hurt shoulder tonight.
Red Shoe Man. Yeah, Red Shoe Man. Hashtag Red Shoe Man always. I want to get that. I want to get that trending someday, or at least get Wyoming, like the official account, to get the hashtag Red Shoe Man. So if you're out there, do whatever you can to pressure them. This is our last season with the Red Shoe Man. We need to get a hashtag Red Shoe Man from the official Wyoming account. They refuse so far, right? Go ahead.
No, the backup kicker was kicking 55-yarders in practice.
Okay. Well, that's some good intel.
So, and then you got that kid from Cheyenne South just hit a 61-yarder.
Yeah, I saw that. Is he going to come to Wyoming?
I don't know.
No? Okay, we don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
Bull was in Cheyenne last night. There was a confirmed sighting. So.
Okay. Yeah, no, I saw the kid set the state record for the longest field goal in Wyoming history. It's 61, and it wasn't like it barely snuck over the bar either.
Yeah, he crushed it. So.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, hopefully he's on their radar.
Well, I'll dial in Monday night. I got hockey, so I'll dial in after that. I'll be perfect time up for me.
Sounds great. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for watching the WyoNation postgame show. For Shea, I am Chad. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.